so easy to get demotivated or not hold yourself accountable.
There's a lot of conflicting needs and goals.
You got to learn how to identify a deal. Like, you got to know how to analyze properties.
You don't grow without a little pain.
This came out far better than we expected from a profit standpoint. Hey everyone, welcome to Revive and Reveal, the show where we share what's happening behind the scenes, behind those pretty photos that you see all over Instagram. I'm Brian Daly, founder of We Revive. I flipped over 600 homes here in San Diego, and this show is all about showing the truth behind those transformations that you see all the time. We're here to shine the light on the entire story, from the acquisition through the renovation and then the sale, including a look at the real financial results, which is sometimes alarming, and to celebrate the people that make it all possible. So today I'm joined here with Cleve Shirley, San Diego native and broker associate with Shafran Realty Group. Shafran Group, is that right?
Shafran.
Shafran?
Yeah.
Cleve connected with us through one of our social media channels, and he brought us into a unique seller situation in El Cajon, where speed, discretion, and client care were the top priorities. So this wasn't just about updating a home, it was about creating peace of mind for sellers in a tough spot. So I'm really excited to have you here, Cleve. But before we get into the whole story of the property itself, I want to learn a little bit more about Cleve and your journey into real estate. So tell us, how did you get into real estate?
Yeah, thank you for having me here, Brian, first of all. My journey into real estate, it was really my first professional job. I came straight from like waiting tables in my early 20s and got into it. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was not one of those guys that like came out of the gates and started doing 15 deals in my first year. I was completely the opposite. I don't even know if I did a deal in my first year. Like, my aunt finally needed to sell her house, so so that was my start, and then eventually started learning about the business. Got my broker's license around 2007.
Oh wow! Right in the thick of it too.
Oh, it was a great time. And then I'm like, this is a great time to start my own company. So I had a little boutique brokerage that we started during the great financial crisis, and that went pretty well. We had that going for about 10 years, I think. And
that was in San Diego?
That was in San Diego, yeah.
Cool.
Started really downtown, and then moved out to East County. Lived in Mount Helix, had my office in La Mesa for a while, so that's kind of where we were doing most of the work back then. And then little life transition, got divorced, shut down the company, kind of simplified things, went over to Coldwell Banker West for a little while, and Radius, and then just last year, kind of at an inflection point with the kids. We were talking about the sports and like managing this life. Went over with had met Alan Shafran, met him a couple times, and then saw him actually at a San Diego Real Producers event. Had a real nice conversation with him. Had a couple of good friends that I also used to work with that were on the team. So ended up going over there just last year, and it's been phenomenal.
Good.
Great group of agents, great culture, great energy.
Hey, he's been around for a while. He's well respected in the industry.
He's third generation realtor.
Really?
In San Diego.
Dang.
Yeah. He's old school. He's phenomenal.
Good.
Super smart guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to be around good people. It's contagious, so to speak, right?
100%. And that's definitely like the environment I was looking for.
Yeah.
You do something for so long, and you kind of can get comfortable in your ways, and kind of get a little dull. So I needed that spark, and to be in that really good environment.
Yeah, and Coldwell Banker is a giant organization, right?
It's giant. Yeah. And at Shafran Realty Group, I think there's like 15 agents right now, which is actually
bigger than it used to be.
Yeah, carrying more agents than normal.
Yeah.
But it's nice, intimate setting. constantly problem solving together, working through any challenges.
Yeah.
And just it's great to be around.
It's good because this can be
yeah.
a lonely business if you don't have that. It's very easy to get yourself on an island.
Oh, for sure.
If you don't have a good tight culture like that where people are willing to come around you and help and share. It's so easy to get demotivated or not hold yourself accountable unless you're around people that
100%.
are there to watch you.
Exactly.
So what's your sweet spot as an agent? What do you focus on?
Yeah, mostly coastal San Diego.
Okay.
I'm native San Diego, and I grew up in East County, so I still have some roots in East County. So I'll do a lot kind of from El Cajon west along the 8. Shafran Realty Group is based in Carlsbad.
Okay.
I think we're #1 in North County Coastal, so we do a lot in the North County Coastal area. But yeah, for me primarily, just
up and down the 5. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So you said you got your broker's license in 2007. Did you go through a phase where you were focusing on short sales, REOs?
Yeah, did a lot of short sales, did a little
okay.
bit of REO. Those were wild times.
I know, right? It was less about sales and more about like processes and just dealing with bureaucracy.
Yeah, I mean the selling process was kind of inverted. Like we were selling to the banks that the property was awful, and like, this is why you had to take a loss on it. It was different.
Yeah, but going through and especially getting established during that time, I feel like, it sets the right expectations and kind of trains you to try harder than if you start in a good time, right? If deals are just falling in your lap, you'll get bad habits and realize like you might just be. The tailwinds might be giving you success, not necessarily the work ethic or the strategy. So, did you find that to be helpful?
For sure.
Looking back, I probably sucked at the time.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
there was that year when, I was just doing BPOs to survive. Just cranking BPOs out. But like having those at bats on evaluating properties in such detail mid me so much better.
True that,
you don't grow without a little pain.
Yeah.
So,
and you got paid for it. I mean, I remember because I know I was the guy behind the computer, like trying to hire BPO agents, and I remember it wasn't much, but I remember a lot of agents weren't doing any business during that time. So to get those reps, I can't, whenever anybody like asks me, how do I get started in doing what you do? I'm like, you gotta learn how to identify a deal. Like you gotta know how to analyze properties. And I think I can't. All the horror stories I hear about agents that don't really know how to do that and kind of let their sellers dictate what the values are. It makes it for a really tough sale. It's emotionally challenging for the sellers.
Yeah. That's not a good experience.
If you're not setting the right expectations up front, so
and we're seeing a lot of that in this market right now.
I know.
Look anywhere and it's price reduction.
I know it's a tough market.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that right now. So all right, what are you excited about right now? What are you striving for?
So definitely doing more deals with you guys. Love this experience. Excited about what we're doing in Bahia. That's a fun one.
We're going to do another one of those for Bahia. That's a fun property.
Definitely, I can't wait to see how it turns out. And then, this is, again, like you just mentioned, like it's challenging time in real estate right now. But this is when like a lot of good is going to come out of challenging times. We've got inventory starting to build back up.
Yeah.
You've got like AI looming on the horizon and how that's going to adapt. And I think there's a real emphasis on what is value that we're bringing to the table with clients. Since the Stitzer-Burnett case, it's really, I think, made agents, myself, our team, like, okay, we need to be very clear about this and be able to communicate it and be able to act on it. I think that right now the industry is heading for like a lot of positive change, and it's not the easiest market right now, but it's all good.
Forcing on the buyer side, right? Forcing a conversation up front to try to express what the value you're bringing. I mean, it's going to make for a more positive experience for the buyer, and the good agents are the ones who are going to be able to effectively cross that bridge and get the sign on the rep agreement. So
exactly, and it's becoming more like a sit down with the seller. You're setting clear expectations, and it's going to make the buyer experience so much better than just kind of Wild West as it's been for however long.
That's true, and it's so funny. Like I mean, change is scary. I remember everybody was kind of up in arms, like, what is this going to mean? Like, are buyer's agents' commissions going to go away? No, I've seen the buyer's agent commissions bigger now than they were before. Some of that has to do with it's we're in a buyer's market, and we can dictate it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like from the agent side of things, I mean, controlling the buyer right now is actually probably better than controlling the seller, because the buyers are dictating where the market's going. Yeah, I mean, the commissions you're earning it. So anyway,
yeah, it's set up front. It's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, last couple questions. What do you love about real estate? Like, if first thing that comes to mind.
Two things. I mean, number one, the people.
Okay.
Both clients and industry professionals. Like, it's a great group of characters out there.
Yeah.
I've been
there's a little
some like faces popping in my mind. But I've been very blessed. I've got awesome clients. I've always been able to work with just great people, and been in the business so long that a lot of these relationships. We just closed on one. Sold them a condo 15 years ago. Daughter was this big, and now she's moving. She's in the workforce, and she's moving into that house that we just closed on. So it's great to see these.
The whole stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then also the problem solving aspect of it. The more analytical side.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah,
I think I mean I'm more.
That's right where you are.
I know. I'm that's the way my brain works is I'm almost I'm better kind of solo in my own little bubble, which is why I hire a team, because I'm I need people around me that are more peoply. But I love the problem solving aspect of it. So what's the hardest part? What I mean, I reframe this question. I used to say, what do you hate about real estate? But a little nicer. What's the hardest part?
The hardest part. I mean, let's face it. Real estate's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It's it can be complex, and you've got a lot of moving parts. I think honestly the hardest part, the biggest challenges are just on the balance side, and getting the kids to where they need to go, while 10 text messages are coming in and voicemails are flying.
Never stops.
Yeah. There's always a lot going on.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about real estate is that we've got some control over our schedule.
Yep.
I make it to all my kids' baseball games. I'm on the field with him, and that's
cool.
That's number one for me.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, I'm working pretty late.
Yeah.
Those calls.
You got to make up that time.
Stuff's happening after dinner, and so just balancing that out and being present where you need to be present, whether it's with the kids or with clients. Just making sure that you're there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dive into the property. Yeah. Okay. So, we are talking today about. Let me just make sure I get the address right. 11320 Fuerte.
Yep.
Fuerte Drive in El Cajon, right on the cusp of Mount Helix, La Mesa.
Yep.
So I know the seller situation was tough, and there are details we don't want to share, we can't share. So with that in mind, I guess let's start from the beginning. Like, how did this client or property come to you?
Yeah, personal relationship. I got a call just with kind of a question about like, hey, where's value?
Yeah.
Sometimes people have unexpected large expenses coming up, and they need to source funds, and there's obviously equity in the property. So it's like, how much?
Yeah.
And then how do we get it out?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So what you can share? What was the seller's mindset when you stepped in?
When you have something unexpected coming up, there's a lot of noise, and it can be hard to kind of cut through all of that noise and focus on what you need to focus on. They're savvy people, so they know that we've got an asset, we've got a problem, we can solve it. Just what's the best way to solve it? But we had some challenges with timing and other stuff. So there were just multiple roadblocks that they kept hitting.
And this was just like part of one bigger situation. So I'm sure they were being pulled in many different directions and overwhelmed by all of it. Yeah. So from your perspective, what was the hardest part about navigating all of that as the agent representing them?
The timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the most difficult thing, just because, and I mean, if you remember, like this wasn't that long ago, but it seems like a different world.
I know.
We were coming right off the election.
Yeah.
Interest rates, like, are they like sticking at 7? I think they were like 6.6, 8.5 back then.
Yeah, they were climbing back up again after they dropped lower in October. It was a weird environment.
There was just so much.
That does feel like so long ago.
Right?
We're in August, and that was only 8 months ago. But
yeah,
gosh,
seems like a different world.
So timing with all that uncertainty up in the air.
We're at the holidays, and it's just it was. And there was a lot of conflicting needs and goals. So how do we get everything together? To make the best situation.
I mean, that's kind of why we wanted to showcase this property, because you guys will see here in a sec. It's not our typical transformation, but it was more about the structure of what was needed, and that a lot of that came from you in order to kind of juggle those conflicting needs of the seller. So how did you structure the terms with the seller's transition happening?
So we had to get a sale done by a certain date, but also we couldn't get them out at that
same time.
At that same time, and it was a short time frame. And a lot of the time leading up to that was looking at the alternative, the more traditional options, and again hitting those roadblocks. And it's like, okay, we've got to go this other route, and then just making sure, because it wasn't a distressed property. It was a nice property.
Yeah.
So, like, how do we accomplish these needs, these pressing needs, and also get a lot of money out of the property?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's tough when you have that quick of a time frame, because if you put that out on the open MLS, especially nowadays, like the last couple of years, I mean, how do you decipher who's really going to be able to perform? And if you don't have a chance, you don't have a second chance opportunity, right? Like,
yeah, there wasn't the time or the margin of error.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
So that it was different story if we started the process 3 months prior, 4 months prior, but they're not aware of their needs at that time. So that was never on the table.
Yeah. You ended up we had to close before the end of the year, if I recall correctly.
I think right after the end of the year.
Right after the end of the year.
the 2nd or 3rd of January.
And then they needed some time. So you were able to structure kind of a stay-in-place agreement. We were kind of going back and forth on what that meant on pricing and whatnot. So you brought us in earlier, like a couple weeks before it needed to close. And
I gave you a ton of time to work.
What's that?
So I give you a ton of time.
Well, we did. I remember we had a lot of back and forth, like leading up to it, because there was a lot of structuring and moving parts and whatnot. So we had time. But you ended up structuring a stay-in-place agreement 29 days after the closing, which is again we were working this all out in the middle of Christmas, New Year, and they were still living there. So yeah, they needed some time to move out, needed some time to transition, but they needed that closed right away. So you were able to structure that with us, and we were able to get them what they needed for the time frame. But again, as we'll move over to the big ESPN style. We'll start, we'll kind of go through the property and the condition, and we'll see. Like it's not a typical remodel that we usually do, but it was more about the structure and the speed and the care for the seller situation that kind of put this project together. So let's go ESPN style. Ready? In front of our big screen TV, where we're going to go through the photos. So we just talked about the story behind the acquisition. Now let's look at what the property looked like during the acquisition. So this is the front of the house when we first walked it, and I remember when I first walked into this was like really stood out to me.
The
entryway was dialed. They did a lot of work here, and you can't really tell in this photo, but they had like that smooth Santa Barbara stucco that really helped elevate the whole appeal of the home, and it just made it feel super high end. And this entryway did that as well.
Yeah, they did a lot of nice finishes, and this was something I know that they had done after they had purchased it. There was, I think the original structure was from the 50s, and then the seller that they bought it from had done an addition, and they did another addition, and part of that was to do this entry and kind of angle it so you...
It feels grand, it felt grand when you walked in, and you would not, this felt like a, built in the 2000s home, the way, which is kind of why we ended up going with the strategy we did. This is, right after you get through the entryway, and they were missing flooring right next to the fireplace, so we had to come up with a creative solution. We had a choice. We replace all the flooring, or could we cover that up somehow? So I'll get into that in a sec. But I mean in the kitchen, it probably 10 years old, cabinets, counters, but still, not the super old granite. Cabinets were they were a little dirty, but they were pretty well cared for. And they had to the left over there was a cool bonus room with a bar, another fireplace. It was a really cool house. The bathrooms, some unique fixtures, which I think we ended up swapping out just to make it feel a little less, particular to a buyer.
That was in the Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
That you're talking about.
Yeah. But all that, it's kind of hard to tell. It looks like that's all new tile. I mean, it was all relatively, a few years old.
I think that bathroom was one of the latest remodels that they did.
Yeah. And I think this was probably the selling point of the home right here, right? The outside, again, new concrete. It was unfortunate the situation they were in because it was a very well dialed in home. They cared for it really, really well. So now we're getting into okay, what do we actually do here? This is not our typical project. Now you said you had some other people looking at it, obviously doing your due diligence for the sellers and trying to get them the best situation. So tell us about what.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why this all came together was because of you looked at the property for what it was, and, you didn't put it in the box of what you do and what you've done on the previous 10 remodels. You evaluated it independently of anything else.
Yeah.
And you were able to, really blow away the other investors. 200K.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what made this work.
Yeah.
And it was a huge difference because it's a 3,700 square foot house.
Yeah.
So once you start, doing flooring,
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of flooring.
Yeah.
When you start doing one bathroom, you're doing, what is it, 4 bathrooms in this one?
I have 4 bathrooms.
4 bathrooms.
I skipped over. I even wrote my notes down and I was like, I skipped over. So yeah, this is 3,712 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But it made all the difference in the world that you guys were able to look at it, and I'm curious how you prioritized what you're going to do, because I know that it's probably hard to, once you start doing one thing, once you paint a wall, it starts to make something else look a little bit dated, and it's like, where do you draw that line?
Well, I mean, the OCD in me is like I always want the bathrooms to somewhat like go together, right? And the flooring and the color, like that's the OCD. But you just got to let it go sometimes. So, I mean, the biggest thing that the cheapest cost and biggest difference is paint. When you have unique colors, it can make rooms feel older. Again, I look at that photo with the light on it, and I'm like, that looks like an old bathroom. But I walk through that. That's new tile. It's all really well done. But I think the color scheme of the blue just kind of dates it a little bit. So we just go, super neutral. Try to go as light as possible, and it especially like this, it really pulls out the color of the beams. That cost is relatively minimal, and I don't have it broken down, but on a house like this, you're probably talking about, for interior paint, about 10 grand, but the whole thing now feels kind of fresh and new, and it makes a big difference. And it doesn't clash. You can do that without having to do very much else, and you don't feel like you're, you need to go rip out the bathrooms, because it's only helping the overall appeal. Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to do a full remodel on this house, because it was a cool house, and there was a lot of space, and to be able to do cool things with it.
But, you could go crazy with it.
We try to look at it as like to do this kitchen, it's going to cost 30 grand, right? Am I going to get 30 grand more in value because I've got, my cabinets are 10 years newer than the ones there? I didn't think so. So we.
What did you do in the kitchen?
We didn't do much. We did a lot of cleaning of the cabinets that were there. And I think we had to do a little minor plumbing repair under the sink. Okay. But I mean, we didn't paint the cabinets, which it turned out they were a little bit more off-white than I remembered them being once we painted everything. But overall, it still looked good with the paint that we had and everything else. But yeah, we didn't do much. I think that's part of the reason we were able to come in under budget. We had some things in mind that we were going to do, but as we got into it, we were just like, I don't think we need to if we price this right.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, going back to the original structure of this, I think that's why you guys were able to make this happen is not because of what you were doing, but because of what you didn't do, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
And it's kind of risky. It's kind of nerve-wracking to go into something,
not having a brand new.
Not doing a new kitchen.
Yeah.
Right. But I love that you guys were able to see it for what it was and make really good choices on what to do.
Yeah, and every property is different and unique, and it's not. There's a lot of different ways. Some buyers honestly, which we'll get into in the sale, but some buyers might not like the newer finishes that we put in in the style that we're using, which might have been the case in this situation with these buyers. But yeah, so I mean, the biggest expense here was the retaining wall, and I'll go back real quick. I mean, this property is on Fuerte Drive. It's kind of a busy street.
Yeah.
Sits up well back from the street, and there's a nice wall in front with some plants and stuff. So really no road noise or anything else. It feels private, but it was a concern of ours. But the biggest concern was, I mean, when you get into the house,
the driveway was in
great.
rough shape.
Yeah, the driveway, the entry, that wall, the hillside that just kind of, was just, it just didn't feel finished. And we didn't get super.
I don't think it was finished.
Yeah, it didn't. And that picture didn't show it justice. There was a section over there that didn't have a wall, that was like a straight. I think they were going to put a wall in, and they didn't. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was putting in this wall and then redoing the driveway. We thought was the biggest ROI generator for this project, was the biggest expense for the project, just because everything else was like very well done. It's just the first impression when you drove up was like, this is an old house and needs a lot of work. So we tried to solve that with the wall. And it's not even that pretty of a wall, but it does help iron out that parking space, and then there's the driveway when it was all finished.
Huge difference.
Yeah, let me see there.
I mean, it looks finished.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the mistake we made, which I was going to save for the next part, is we rushed this thing on the market, and this wasn't done when we first did the photos and we put it on the market. And I'm like, I kind of got on my team a little bit. It's like that is the that's the first impression. So it did eventually get done, and then we did get new photos and put it back on the market. But it did hurt that first weekend impression for sure.
Now, going back to that time, was it market conditions? Because there was a lot of uncertainty. The first round of tariffs were hitting, I think in February, Mexico and Canada tariffs. And I don't remember what else was going on. But that was like an uncertain market. I remember a lot of hesitancy with buyers that I was talking about at that time.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts going into getting it on the market and the timing?
Well, speed, like we still are in this space. Like ever since kind of the end of last year, it's been a really, really tough market for what we do. So we're looking for opportunities where we can move faster, where we don't have a lot of exposure to the market. So in this case, that's one of the reasons why we liked the simple model, because a full renovation there would have taken 2 months and maybe 2.5 months and cost a lot of money, and then we would have had to sell it for top dollar on a busy street.
Probably looking at a longer market time.
Longer market time, yeah. So I'm a little nervous all the time now. This time of year is always the best time to sell. So I felt good about this project when we bought it. I felt good about it when we listed it.
Going into the spring market.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, still, I just spoke at an event 2 days ago to a bunch of investors, and I told them, like, this last 12 months and probably the next 12 months, hardest period of time to do this work that I can remember going back to 2010 since I've been doing it.
Wow.
Just because we kind of are on the precipice of going from a seller market to a buyer market, more inventory than we've seen in a long time. Yeah. This market environment is tricky. We're being super conservative. We're factoring in a decent amount of depreciation on everything we buy. Higher market times, bigger buyer commissions, like we talked about before.
Right. Yeah.
Bigger, a credit on every property. And we relook at this every month. We're like, because we have to stay in front of the market, even if that means we buy less properties, even if that means, our offers aren't as good. But if the market gets worse than we expected when we made all the offers to buy the properties we bought, we could be holding a bag of, poop, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, and that's an expensive bag to hold.
Exactly. So yeah, it's to answer your question, I'm always nervous. That's why I write Real Report. It helps me at least think through my thoughts, and
it's a good exercise.
Helps me sleep. Yeah. So this is what we ended up doing with that missing flooring. We ended up keeping the flooring because it was going through all the hallways. We did replace carpet in all the bedrooms, but we kept the wood floor. We kept the tile floor, and then because those two spots were not floored, we built in this little kind of surround to the fireplace. I would have loved to have tiled that fireplace.
Tiled around it?
Tiled the whole thing.
Tiled the whole, okay.
Just made it look more modern. Mm-hmm. But the challenge was we had that giant fireplace in the other room that looked exactly like that. So to do both of them that's one of those situations like it's
that thread. Yeah.
So we just kind of leaned into it. We solved the problem. Way less expensive than replacing all the floor. That was in pretty decent shape, but we just put these cabinets to the next of the fireplace on each side to frame it and make it feel like they had some kind of built-in situation. So
I think it worked. You solved a problem.
Yeah.
Kind of simply.
Yeah. We ended up having countertops on there, and it didn't look exactly like that, so we'll see that in the photos. But yeah, again, I love doing the full remodels. Those are more fun. But these are unique because, it's like we talked about before. Little problems that you can solve without tearing everything out. So this is what we ended up with, right? So this is our at the end, the sale. So we finished all the renovations. Just for context, our original budget was $65,000, and the original time frame was 50 days. We ended up spending just under 50. So I think we had some pad in there for the flooring, which we didn't end up replacing. Mm-hmm. And so we went in with a $65,000 budget in 50 days. We spent just under 50 in 35 days. So we went a little too quick, as I kind of mentioned. I mentioned before. We did not do the slurry coat before we listed it, which is we should have. So it should have been more like 50 days. But this is how that turned out, right next to the fireplace. It wasn't. I look at those cabinets. I'm like, man, those aren't it's kind of a cheap cabinet box.
Kitchen cabinets? Or?
Yeah, they're just it's our typical, for our typical box cabinets. Yeah. But it butcher block on the side to tie into the floating shelves. It helped frame it. It was good.
It works, and using the light staging kind of balances out some of the darker colors, the heavier stones, and it turned out nice.
Yeah, good job staging on this.
And that was a challenging room.
Yeah.
Like, what was that room? That was the one that
it's kind of narrow.
Me.
It was kind of narrow. It was like the whole formal sitting room idea that.
Yeah, you pass through it, but what's its purpose?
Yeah, just that, I guess. Someone's gonna throw a TV on there.
It worked. Yeah.
So we were able to clean, salvage. All the appliances were in great shape, just needed cleaning. So that brick on the other side of that fireplace is this brick that we painted to help.
That was a darker color originally.
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Help soften up the room a little bit. Cabinets again. I mean, we kept the cabinets. I don't remember I think those were white already. I noticed as I look at this, we didn't install cabinet hardware, which is usually we do even when we're keeping cabinets. We install cabinet hardware. So I don't know if we did that after photos or if we just didn't do it. looking at that bothers me right now.
The photo looks great.
Yeah, thanks.
Nobody's going to notice the missing handles except for you.
Yeah, I just said it.
In that photo. Maybe when they walk in and try to open the drawer.
But so see the difference of just getting rid of the blue, right? Just getting rid of the blue.
100%. Yeah.
It just makes it feel fresh, open, white. This was there before. This was all there. This is one of those things that the sellers, the guy built this himself. Sturdiest pergola I've ever come across. Biggest pergola. I mean those big old
those posts.
Those huge. They're giant.
10-inch.
Yeah. I mean I don't even remember, but it was super well built. So this whole barbecue thing, I think we had to replace the barbecue, but yeah, this was a big selling point for the house. So here's, well, first off, let's talk about the sale real quick. I'm gonna go. I'll go back to the numbers. So I already mentioned we had that. We had a lot of interest when we first listed this thing, but we had a lot of feedback about the driveway because it wasn't done. It was a quick fix. I think it was already scheduled, but for some reason we listed it before it got done. So we got it done after the first weekend, and then I think the second weekend is when we got three offers, if I recall correctly. So we got feedback on the first weekend about that, about the driveway, which makes sense. So we were on a busy road, so that was a concern for buyers, which is another reason we didn't get offers that first weekend. But the way the property sat back and higher, again, it alleviated that concern. Our original ARV when we bought this, again, assuming that $65,000 budget was 1.6, and we listed it at 1.59. So you were saying that the full remodeled ARV for the other buyers was
basically the same. It was right in line with where you guys ended up.
Okay.
But to get there, they were going to do
everything.
Yeah. And so that's a $200,000 difference.
Yeah.
Just in the cost. So their net would have been the same.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
just prevented the deal from working.
Well, I'm glad they didn't see that, because then it allowed us to do the project. It ended up to be. We were confident in the numbers ahead of time, but it ended to be better than we expected. So
now, what went better?
So the slightly lower budget helped a lot. We listed it again a little early, but we were only 2 weeks on the market. 35 days for renovations, 2 weeks on the market. Buyer closed super fast, and the buyer didn't have
no buyer commission.
No buyer commission. Yeah. So that we got the price that we always thought we were going to get, but they didn't ask for a buyer commission, which was it saved a ton of money.
Not very common.
Not today, especially. So yeah, we saved $15,000 on the budget, saved $32,000 on the buyer's agent commission, and then we originally planned for, because the market was slower, we originally planned for 145 days or so for the total hold time, and we got it done in 93. So
wow.
This is how it worked out, 1.28 on the purchase price. Rental costs just under 50, buying costs, the financing costs, which still pretty sizable for only 93 days, it's $40,000. That's the thing that most people overlook when they go over their numbers, is like, how much did it actually cost you to do the project and finance it? So selling costs were, that was super lucky. Like, can never count on that when you're running your numbers up front, but when you can get a buyer that is willing to pay full value and not have to earn a commission. I mean, $32,000 right to the bottom line. So we ended up selling it at 1.6 with. I have some requests for, like, because it wasn't fully done, we expected it. They asked for some repairs, and so there was, I think, if I recall correctly, it's about $6,000 in credits, and then $8,000 or so in repairs. And I don't remember what they were.
I think it was HVAC.
HVAC?
I could be wrong.
Okay. That's not something that we redid, so that would make sense. And so profit-wise, again, this came out far better than we expected from a profit standpoint, and a lot of that had to do with the hold time, the reno budget, and then the saving on the buyer's commission. So our original numbers here, just so you guys you see that and you think that, oh, we're greedy bastards. We originally expected to make, I think it was $79,000 on this, which is kind of how we came up with the offer price. That's our minimum target for annualized percentage rate, and then ended up at 122. We had a JV investor on this one, an individual investor, not our fund, and they walked away with $30,000. So they come in and we bring in equity partners sometimes. Sometimes we fund ourselves. It doesn't affect anything to do with the seller. It's just on our back end. Like, do we have to share the profit, or do we pay a flat interest rate? In this case, we share the profit, and they walked away with $30,000 in 90 days. They were really, really happy with that. So, that's the property. Super simple rehab, but not simple in the structure. But I'm glad to hear that the structure ended up panning out both for them and for us. I mean, we were able to pay, you said $200,000 more than the next investors, and we were still able to walk away with
It
healthy
really
profit.
was something that everybody won in this one.
Yeah.
Everybody got what they needed, and I think there was even a little bit more on the table than you'd anticipated.
Yeah,
So
for sure, absolutely. This is they don't all turn out like this. We just shot another one of these where we lost money. We'll be doing a lot more of those here soon because it's a tough market. But Cleve, looking back, would you have done anything differently? Would you have done anything differently with this particular client, with this particular property?
I mean, I wouldn't have. I would have loved to have come into this earlier, but that wasn't in the cards.
To help them get on the market.
Exactly.
It would have been great.
For the problem that we solved, I think this went as well as it could have all around. And I so appreciate the way you guys were able to look at it, outside of just, your typical box, and identify the solution that made it work. I mean, it was.
Yeah, you worked with
great.
Etienne on the buy side, right?
Yeah.
And I said a lot of that upfront decision making and structuring had to do with Etienne and your guys' dialoguing. So, so what advice would you give to other agents dealing with a tricky, complicated seller situation like this?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to get all the possible solutions out on the table and just start sifting through what's going to meet the objective best.
And try to get the clients working on it sooner than
and try to start as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Time is definitely a factor in these things. Like for you guys, there's that financing cost adds up with every day that you're holding it.
Yeah.
And for the sellers and for the agents, that's a lot of time to problem solve and to work through solutions. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, last one. You've been finding success in a tough market. You've been around since before the great financial crisis.
Yeah,
what advice would you give to other agents right now trying to break through in this market?
What advice would I give to other agents trying to break through in this market? Just show up with a good attitude every day. There's so much opportunity out there. Don't listen to the negativity. There's plenty of that.
Yeah.
It's a really good time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of opportunity. Just go to work.
Yeah, this is the the sales volume is as low as it's kind of ever been.
Yeah.
If you can make it work in this market, you're going to crush it when sales volume, prices are going to come down or rates going to come down, one or the other. Volume is going to increase. the values of the home might not, but the volume will increase as this happens.
The volume's going to increase, and anybody that stays in the market share is going to increase as well.
Yep.
And that's, I think, one of the real positives that comes out of any difficult time in any market, is that there's a lot of people get out, and the opportunity increases.
And it kind of needs to. It kind of needs to happen. We got to, you need to, you need to.
Through,
what a GE, the CEO of GE's like, he always fired the lowest performing 10%. The market's just doing that. All right, thank you for joining us at Revive and Reveal. Appreciate you coming on, Cleve, sharing the story. We're excited to see the next one, so join us, and see you soon.